Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. And in this lecture, we're going to go over the very basics of Git. So let's start by creating a new directory. On my Windows machine, I'm going to right click and say New Folder. And I'm going to name this Python Git Basics. And now I'm going to open up PyCharm and open up this folder. I'm going to click Open. And in Desktop, I'm going to click Python Git Basics. And these interpretators you can turn off for now. And what we can see here is we started with a file automatically, and I'm going to remove all of this. And I'm just going to type in print hello world. And I'm going to right click and run this application just to make sure everything is working correctly. So what we currently have is we have a new folder of Python Git Basics with one file inside, which is main.py. Let's hop into our terminal. And while we're inside Python Git Basics, we have to use a command to make sure Git is embedded into this folder and directory. So the first thing we need to type is git init. Once you type in git init, we initialized an empty Git repository in our C drive leading up to our Python Git Basics directory. And now let's type in git status. When we type in git status, we can see that we're on our master branch. We currently have no commits yet. We have nothing tracked within our stage environment, which is our .idea, which is just going to be the IDE and some cache for PyCharm, and our new main.py file. Nothing added to the commit, but untracked files present, and we can use git add to track these changes. So the first thing I'm going to say is git add dot. And what git add dot means, this means add everything that is untracked and add it to our staging directory. When I click enter, we can see that we get a warning LF will be replaced by CRLF in our idea leading up to our project default and our project settings. We can ignore this for now. Let's now type in git status again. Now we can see that when we retype git status, we're getting all of this new information of git ignore and some other information within our .idea, but we're also getting our new file of main.py. And these changes are now to be committed and are sitting within our staging environment. Once we add new directories and files to our staging environment, we have to commit these changes. To now be able to commit these changes, we have to say git commit -m with a sentence or a definition of what we're about to commit. And here we can initially see that we get our commit with our -m first commit for our project. We get a commit which is going to have a bunch of different information. If this is your very first time using Git may be asking you to tell them who they are and add some configurations. We can add our Git username and user email configurations by typing in git config --global user.email with your email. And we can do the exact same thing, but this time we may need to pass in a name. Now, if it didn't ask for this, that means you already have your name committed onto your Git. And I already do, so we can ignore that for now, but you may need to add it just in case. So now if we redo git status, we can see that PyCharm added something else. So let's do git.add again. And let's commit it as a PyCharm change. And now for the last time, let's do a git status again. And we can see that on our master branch, there's nothing new to commit and we're working on a clean branch. Let's add in one more statement under hello world. And I'm just going to say 2 plus 2, just so we have a new change. If we run this application, we're going to see we get hello world and 4. So inside our terminal, if we say git status, we can see that our main.py was modified. And we have a few options we can do. We're on our branch master. Our changes that are not staged for this commit is our main.py file. And we can reverse it by saying git restore our main.py file, or we can update our main.py file by using the add. Again, I'm going to add our file. But this time, instead of using dot, which means all files, I'm going to specifically type in this main.py file. And now if we say git status, we can see that our main.py file is now in our staged environment. And if I say git commit -m added an addition functionality, we're going to see that our application is going to push in this commit. And now once again, let's say git status. Again, there's nothing in our commit, but this time I'm going to type in git log. When we type in git log, we can see our last 3 commits, which is our first commit for the project, our PyCharm change commit, and then our added additional functionality, or added addition functionality, which is going to be our head and our master. We'll go over what this means in a second, but as we can see, we have 3 different commits all within inside here. Now, something that we can do is this is our commit ID. If we copy this ID and we exit out of this git log by pressing Q, we can say git checkout that ID. And we can see that there's a whole bunch. You are now in a detached head state, and we are able to experiment here, but turn off this advice for settings on our config, but our head, which is our page, is now on that new commit of PyCharm change. Now watch what happens. When we click our main.py file, our addition functionality went away, and that's because we went back a commit before we added the addition functionality. If we go back into our git log, which is going to show all of our reversions, our head is on this second commit, which is version 2 of the application. And now if we want to go back to our old commit, we can say git checkout -sign. And this more or less goes back to what we had previously in our git. So if we click this, we can see that our previous head position was this, but now we switch back to our branch of master. So if I click here, we can see that now in our main.py file, we get our addition functionality back. Also, if we say git log, we can see that we have our first commit, our PyCharm change, and then our added addition functionality is now our head and our master. If I press Q to close this, and I say git status, we now get on branch master, nothing to commit, working on a tree that is clean. And congratulations, we just went over the absolute basics for Git. So Git init, being able to create new commits and being able to check out old commits and switch back to our master and all the fun stuff that Git brings us and the power of Git. So we have now reversion control in our application. This wraps up this lecture on the Git basics, and I will see you in the next video.